phone yesterday afternoon. Good to hear from you, brother. See, Patrick's with us this morning. Good morning. And there's Uncle Steve. Good morning. Patrick says howdy JF, but I don't see a comment from Jay just yet, so we're looking forward to that. And it is Firearms Friday. So the world of firearms news has been a little slow of late, which is, it's there are positives and negatives to that, but because of that, we're going to do a more traditional Firearms Friday this morning with one brief exception. I want you guys to take a listen to this video from the Right Side Rebel. And first, take a moment to appreciate. Good morning, Mario.
Yeah.
Join us. First, I want to let you guys know that this pretty little blonde chick right here is apparently an Army combat engineer veteran. And if you know anything about combat engineers, they're a little on the crazy side. Right? Mario, you may remember this. My baby brother was studying in at Kennesaw State University to be an engineer, a mechanical engineer. And then while I was deployed, he called me up and he's like, "Hey, Chris, I'm joining the Army." I was like, "Oh, that's cool. You're following the family tradition, right? It's military tradition, right? The Lowry family, Sergeant Major, myself, my baby brother, my wife, her father, and her father, both of my grandfathers, Uncle Steve, right? I mean, we're all war fighters, have been traditionally, and blood on every battlefield in U.S. history. That is the legacy of the family. And then my baby brother calls and says, "Yeah, I'm joining the Army. I'm going to be a combat engineer." And I said, "Oh, Edward, that's a combat engineer is the opposite of an engineer."
Yeah. You're not building things. You're taking them apart.
Correct. It is the opposite. So, for those of you who don't know what it means, a combat engineer is not somebody who, if you don't know any better, on first blush, it might sound like, oh, these are the badasses that land when nobody's there already. You basically drop them out of a C-130 with parachutes and a pallet, and they build bases. No, that's not what combat engineers do. They lay minefields. They destroy bridges. They build traps, right? The job of a combat engineer is to engineer the battle space. They create hazards for the enemy and destroy routes for the enemy. And while they're doing that, they straight up go and they're denying access to the battle space to the enemy. So, Mario, drop your camera for a minute and come back. This video's almost 3 minutes long.
Combat engineering basically is here. What you're going to be building at best is filling up HESCO barriers, okay, with a backhoe and
yeah.
and more likely you're going to be blowing holes in things. All right. So yeah.
Yeah, and for those of you who don't know that, what Mario's talking about, a HESCO barrier, it basically, a HESCO is a block. It's a big wire frame with a burlap or paper sack in it that you fill with dirt, and you use that to build walls to make rapid deployed fortified encampments in forward operating zones. So I want you guys to take a listen to what this girl's talking about. This is just take a listen. And I apologize ahead of time. The volume on this video is a little low. That's just because X is bad at balancing volume.
So a lot of people do not know about IP28. There is a group of people getting signatures right now. They are already over 105,000 at this moment and they need 117,000 to put it onto the ballot. But what they're framing it as is animal cruelty and animal experimentation. IP 28 would ban hunting, fishing, livestock slaughter, breeding, including artificial insemination, animal research, and standard veterinary and husbandry practices. So when you hear about this legislative being passed, you have to sit there and think, how is this going to affect Oregon? Well, for starters, let's remember all the kids in.
So before she gets any further, wanted to break up the video because it is a longer clip. We've talked before about intended consequences versus unintended consequences, and we've talked about Hanlon's razor, the idea that you cannot attribute to malice that which can be explained by incompetence. And so what she's talking about is a bill that's being sold to the public as this bill will criminalize animal cruelty. And, you know, an intelligent person might say, well, now hold on a minute. Don't we already have a law for that? Well, yeah, but we're adding to the category of things that's called animal cruelty, experimentation on animals. Oh, yeah, well, okay, cool. So my dope smoking hippie liberal ass can get behind shutting down animal experimentation. And hey, you know what? Fair play. I can certainly understand how a person can look at a cute little pink porky pig and feel awful that it might have to wear lipstick one day. Okay. But she's about to list for you all the things that it actually also outlaws. And I want you to remember, Hanlon's razor, these aren't stupid people that put these bills together. Okay? They're smart enough to put a bill together, to put together a proposition and seek out the signatures to get that proposition on accepted as a ballot measure. And this is in Oregon, right? They're smart enough to put the ballot proposition together and seek out the signatures for the petition to get it converted to a ballot measure. And we have to look at that. We have to look at that pattern of data and understand that we can no longer attribute this to incompetence or ignorance. Malice is the word that you're looking for, because the quote unquote unintended consequences, the additional run-on effects that she's about to list, you must understand these are the things that these people want. I will give them just a tiny little bit of charity. That she's going to mention some knock-on effects, right? So she's going to mention some knock-on effects from some of the otherwise arguably unintended consequences. And it may be that those are not intended. For example, she's going to point out that under the category of animal cruelty will be included the use of mouse traps, rat traps, and that the result will be not only an explosion in that population, but a massive vulnerability in restaurants and public safety and health. So restaurants aren't allowed to use pest control to prevent insects and rodents from entering their facilities because, well, yeah.
Youth in Oregon that do 4-H and FFA. They would have to completely reorganize the program to adapt to the new laws. I don't think IP 28 will ever get passed, but if it were, there are so many people who will lose their.
And there's another important point. She said she doesn't believe that the bill will be passed. Okay. Many of us thought the same about Obamacare, about gay marriage, etc. Right? And the fact is that these psychopaths on the left that want to neuter your sons and steal your guns and force you to eat bug paste and nothing but vegetable matter and obliterate the basic human diet, they will continue to pursue their objectives relentlessly until they achieve them. Right? One of the greatest, probably the greatest vulnerability that our Republican government style has is that there's never a final solution, right? We never say this is a bad idea. You keep having the same bad idea. Why, oh, why do you keep returning to the same bad idea that everybody says no to? Well, because over time, they will erode the intelligence and the free spirit of the people until they accept the bad idea. And that's how you get gay marriage, transgender bathrooms, Obamacare, gun control, and oh, looky, socialism, right? But I mean, take for example, right now there are people protesting and rioting in New York who are screaming, "We voted for Mamdani because he said he was going to fix everything, and now he's going to raise our taxes." Why did we get tricked? Oh no, you got tricked again. Santa Steve, you're correct. He says demons are forever. That is correct. And because the demon is forever, you can never stop fighting him.
Jobs, sell their ranches, we would have to rely on out-of-state imports for dairy, meat, eggs. With IP28 banning hunting, fishing, and animal trapping.
Now she doesn't address this. She just said if this were to pass, because it would change the categorization of animal cruelty to include slaughter, right? As in the normal process of butchering animals for meat, and thereby shut down the meat production, the local meat production all over Oregon. That they would then have to import all of their dairy because yes, what she's pointing out, the idea of animal cruelty in this bill that she's talking about includes things like, taking the milk from cows is animal cruelty because it was meant to feed the baby calves. And I know that sounds crazy. And if you think that that's hyperbole, if you think that's something that's beyond the reach of the psychopathy of the lefties, I will reference you back to Governor Ralph Northam, right? Make no mistake, there is no evil, no ill, no psychosis that is beyond the grasp of this evil, right? Now, that said, when she says that if we lose our local farmers, our local meat producers and dairy farmers, etc., that we'll have to import these products into Oregon in order to have them, I think she's underselling it. If it were to get to that point, then the next logical step would be for the same sociopaths to begin arguing and legislating based on the presupposition that the act is all inclusive, and therefore even the importation of the products of the act should be criminalized, right? That may not be the immediate result of the bill itself, but that will be the next logical step. Just like the next logical step from codifying gay marriage was actively grooming your children to become transgenders and homosexuals in public schools, right? Anybody who thinks that the idea of the slippery slope is still a fallacy just doesn't understand it. The slippery slope is not fallacy, guys. It is the history of the human world.
We wouldn't be able to protect our livestock. We wouldn't be able to set traps for mice or rats. So what happens to the restaurants when they can't control a rat problem? What happens to hotels when they can't control a rat problem? What happens when one of our animals in our livestock are hurt because they got attacked from a predator and we can't put them down? We can't protect our animals by unaliving the predator. Hunting and fishing licenses in Oregon provide up to 45 to 55% of the Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife's budget. This would completely eliminate the revenue stream. It would severely damage management, rehabilitation, habitat restoration, species.
Okay, so she's going to go on discussing more of the knock-on effects there. That's another good point she pointed out right there, and one that was made back when I think it was the Jimmy John's CEO was pictured with a lion that he had shot, right? And the of course the whole world was just outraged. Oh, these evil man. He just went and killed that lion because he's rich and mean and evil. And okay, now hold on a minute. Lions are delicious, and oh yeah, sure enough, if I had the opportunity to put a lion head on the wall that I had taken, I just might have to roll with that. But more importantly, much more importantly, and this is something that lefties just don't understand, the vast majority of conservationism, like protecting wildlife, especially big wildlife reserves in Africa, is funded almost exclusively through hunting.
Yep. And tourism in general. Yeah.
Yeah, those of us who like to eat venison, we are interested in the deer population remaining stable. Because if you don't hunt it sufficiently, if they are not adequately predated upon, they destroy their own environment. They breed out of control and destroy their own environment and then imperil their continued reproduction. Right? So if you don't cull the herd, right? Yeah. If you don't cull the herd, you end up with what do you end up with, Mario? Oh, you end up with dangerous unchecked immigration.
Right. And dysgenic animals, okay? Like Monterey, California. They should have the Presidio of Monterey, they should have introduced like one breeding pair of like great wolves, all right? And it was just and it can be used to control the deer population, okay? Because they're disgusting, degenerate, and they've lost the ability to fear humans, okay? Because in California you can't shoot them. And also the great wolf would serve as a kind of a selection event, maybe for people who recruiters might have been dishonest about putting in the military, okay? Could have taken care of a few of them, okay? Pretty sure that psychotic Navy chick, okay, who wore the beret. I think the Great Wolf would have purged her. Okay, I think the Great Wolves might have purged Chamberlain. All right, could have done us a favor.
Well, he sure as hell wouldn't have outrun him, would he? Oh God.
Yep.
I'm a big old dude with some extra weight on me, and I hate to run, but I have still made more than one freaking run.
Yeah. Chris is back in his prime. Chris's 40 meter is surprisingly fast. Okay. I've run from him many occasions. Okay, for many reasons, the majority I deserved. All right. And I turn around and he's literally right there. I'm like, oh shit, gotta hit the afterburners. If I make it to 40 yards, I'll dust him. But I got to make it to 40 yards.
I'm real good at downhill. I'm real good at down.
Sergeant Major says one breeding pair of soldiers could control the deer population.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, Sergeant Major, we had multiple breeding pairs of soldiers at the Defense Love Institute, and they weren't doing shit. Okay.
Yeah, I tell you what, that eagle is still there. The eagle is still there.
Yeah. So, you got a lot of examples of people getting blasted this morning.
I do. You ready to tear into those now that we've covered? The.
I did something else too. I feel bad because I haven't been here. Missed 3 days in a row, so I haven't produced any content for you this week. I did watch the Tucker Carlson and Kent, Jesus Christ, mind blank right now. Joe Kent interview. So if you want to give you guys a recap on what went down there.
Yeah, give us a quick recap. I'm not sure what to think about the Joe Kent thing because it sounds like he's the guy that leaked
I,
one of the important signal thread.
I made two scrolls. I made two scrolls.
Damn, son.
Yeah, just writing last night. Okay. Anyway, all right. So Joe Kent, decorated veteran. He did 20 years in the military, seven deployments. Okay. So yeah, no, actually more than that, I believe. Anyway, he did 7 deployments in Iraq. Okay, spent a total of 5 years in country. All right, active duty. Anyway, so he was the counterterror chief for the DNI, the Director of National Intelligence. Just briefly, so Lindsey Gabbard, is it Lindsey? I didn't.
Tulsi.
I had time
Tulsi
for
Gabbard.
Tulsi Gabbard. I had time for one cigarette. Okay, and I'm on my first cup of coffee, so bear with me. I'm going to get names wrong. Tulsi Gabbard, yeah, his boss is Tulsi Gabbard, for the Office of the Director of National Intelligence. Okay, that's basically the office that's supposed to create fusion products from the from the other 18 agencies of the intelligence community. Okay, for the executive. All right. So he works for he was the head chief of the counterintelligence, or not, the counterterrorism division for the Director of National Intelligence. Okay. Um, so, and in the course of the interview, which was great, I would highly recommend everyone watch it. It's only like an hour long, which for low attention span people like Steve, you know what I mean, is a perfect cutoff. The results of the war versus Iran were predictable. Okay. Regime change. Regime change was not going to happen. Okay. That regime has been there for 40 years, and the more you destroy the top leadership, uh, to cycle down through the ranks, okay, of the IRGC, the more radical the people are who are going to take over, okay. And the Iranian people have stood by the regime, okay, because they're really the only game in town. So regime change is a failure. Iran was respecting, to a degree, escalation of force with us. Okay, if you remember correctly, during Operation Midnight Hammer, they only launched one missile attack on a U.S. base in the region, which was Doha. Okay, and they fired it in an area where there were no troops stationed. Okay, so it's basically a little just a show of force. You know what I mean? But no serious escalation from Iran. All right. Um, um, and then the economic fallout from this is obvious, okay, with the total disruption of global petroleum markets, in particular liquid natural gas, with yesterday's attack from Iran on Dubai's LNG field, which is one of the biggest ones in the world. Okay. Now, so eventually there's going to be a peace negotiation, okay, as a result of this. And if China leads that peace negotiation, they're going to become, from that point forward, equal, if not dominant, in the Middle East. All right, as far as national sway. Okay, um, and probably the biggest thing that Kent revealed in the interview is that there's an entire ecosystem in Washington, okay, of Israeli lobbyists and government officials who are feeding narratives to policymakers that are counter to the intelligence community, to our domestic intelligence organizations. Okay, he spells this out in detail, and they have equal, or if not more, sway than our actual intelligence agencies. Okay, which is that's a big fucking problem. So Israel is run amok in our federal government, controlling our policy, or our policies. The ODNI, Office of the Director of National Intelligence, had no intelligence of any imminent threat to United States or U.S. assets from Iran in the days preceding Trump's de facto declaration of war against Iran. So there was no intelligence indicating an imminent threat. The only imminent threat was Israel was going to attack them, and they weren't going to be told no, and that we were going to get sucked into it. So the rationale on our side was, well, if we're going to come under fire, then we might as well jump in with Israel, okay? Because we can't control Israel. Like, we can't control Israel. Think about that. We can't control Israel. We can't tell Israel what to do. Israel supposedly is a client state of the United States, but in reality, it's more like the United States is a vassal state of Israel at this point. Okay, and he mentions that Trump exists in a very tight bubble. Um, there's a small inner circle around Trump, and they control access to him. Okay, so the majority of what Trump is hearing is probably bullshit, or it's just intelligence or stuff manufactured by elements within the U.S. government that have allegiance to Israel. Really, watch the interview. It's everything. It's everything you already knew, or kind of instinctively understood, but he's just spelling it out. Okay, Joe Kent didn't kill himself. Okay, we'll say that going forward. Kent distrusts the Israeli effort. Kent distrusts the Israeli efforts to circumvent the United States intelligence community. Like I said, the USIC had no intel of any imminent threat from Iran. This was entirely done on behalf of Israel. And he says that if it seems that if it seems like this is all Israel's foreign policy, well, that's because it is. Okay, straight up, we're doing this on behalf of Israel, and whether it's because they're our bestest buddy and ally, okay, and we're doing them a favor, or if it's because we're effectively under control, who can say? And he says that
claim that there was no intelligence of a threat from Iran leading up to it, that doesn't make sense.
Other than what exists in the routine threat window, okay, but there was no imminent threat of attack from Iran on U.S. That's what he says.
So
there was no imminent threat of attack.
So the reporting that in negotiations, Iran said we have enough material to make 11 weapons, and we're going to start using them now. That would vitiate that claim.
Where's that from?
In order for the claim that there was no threat, that there was no intelligence of a threat to be valid, then the reporting that Iran said we have enough material to make 11 weapons and we're going to start using them, that would require for that reporting to be false.
I haven't heard that.
Yeah.
I don't know where's that from?
That and we heard that before. Here, let me look it up.
He's saying imminent threat. There's no imminent threat. Okay, I guess focus on the word imminent. Anyway,
well, you even referenced this. You even referenced this because you pointed out when we first hit Iran, you pointed out that because Iran said they have the material to make the weapons, and that is one of the reasons that Donald Trump decided to strike when he did. That tells us that the 12 days war from the last time we struck Iran and said that we had totally destroyed their nuclear production capabilities, that it turns out, oh, we didn't. And that's a perfectly fair criticism. I'm with you there. It turned, and I don't know if what happened there. We don't have enough information to really know. I don't know if what happened there is we tried and failed to destroy their entire nuclear program, but we believed. I don't know if our IC actually believed that we had destroyed their entire nuclear program and stockpile and reported in good faith what they believed, or if our IC knew that they had not managed to accomplish that mission and decided to lie to us. But either way, if it is the case that Iran has enough uranium for 11 nuclear bombs, which is what they claimed. So here's the article from the New York Post. That basically, this is from March 3rd, right? So this is from a week, a little less than a week before the attack. Iran claimed to have enough uranium for 11 nuclear bombs, U.S. envoy Witkoff says. Iranian officials told their U.S. counterparts during crunch talks last month that the Islamic Republic possessed enough enriched fuel to build 11 nuclear bombs, President Trump's special envoy claimed Monday night. Both the Iranian negotiators said to us directly with, no shame, that they controlled 460 kilograms of 60% enriched uranium. Steve Witkoff told Fox News host Sean Hannity. and they're aware that that could make 11 nuclear bombs, and that was the beginning of their negotiating stance. And real quick on the whole nuclear Iran question, they have material enhanced to 60%. There is not a single country on the planet that has ever had a nuclear program which enriched up to 20% and then not developed a nuclear weapon. It has never happened before. It is unreasonable to presuppose that Iran, having reached 60%, will not pursue a weapon, especially given that they've stated openly that that is their intent.
I don't
Right.
trust Witkoff or Kushner at all, especially Kushner. Kushner's an absolute snake. Like they're the ones spearheading the war effort against Trump.
And I don't disagree.
The slightest bit.
Mario, I don't disagree with that either, but at the same time, I don't trust Iran. Frankly, I trust Muslims less than Jews.
I'm an anti-Semite. That means both. All right. Ken thinks that Israel doesn't care about what happens in the Middle East so long as its rivals are eliminated or neutralized. Okay. Israel doesn't care about our allies.
I believe to be 100% correct.
Yeah. Israel doesn't care about our allies in the regions, whether it's Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Bahrain, Dubai. Okay. If they get hit in response to Israeli-led action, then they're playing realpolitik. Okay. It's bottom line, what is our national interest? Okay. And it doesn't matter the spillover it has in the region. Then Kent reveals that there was a lack of debate in the U.S. government before war, before this war, okay, versus say before Midnight Hammer, when there was a lot of debate about U.S. action. So it was basically a foregone conclusion. It was already decided, okay, well beforehand that this was going to happen. Says that sleeper cells are unlikely. It's just lone sudden jihad syndrome. Okay, terrorists who are the most likely to be the source of any terrorist attacks that occur on U.S. soil. Bases his resignation due to 7 deployments to Iraq, 5 years in country, and he believes that Operation Iraqi Freedom was based on neocon lies. So he's bitter about basically the lies that got us sent to Iraq, and he doesn't want that repeated. Says that ISIS was a product of Israel, Mossad, and the United States. Mossad and CIA created ISIS to form a wedge in the region in the post-Operation Iraqi Freedom Middle East, because we had created a Shia superstate, okay, by handing over Iraq to the Shia, as opposed to the Sunni who had traditionally controlled it. He admits that Israel is in the driver's seat of U.S. foreign policy. He talks about how Trump is compromised. Talks about the investigation into Daniel Crooks went nowhere. Okay, so there's a lot of unanswered questions about Trump's assassination attempt in Butler. Unanswered questions regarding the investigation into Charlie Kirk. And Charlie Kirk he revealed, was the number one, who was a personal advisor to Trump in his inner circle, and was the number one advocate against war with Iran. Okay, they're in Trump's inner circle. The Office of the Director of National Intelligence investigated Tyler Robinson following the assassination of Charlie Kirk, but they were shut down. They were denied access to info at the spigot, right? And the FBI deferred the entire case to Utah authorities, who said that they were on top of it, basically. Okay, which is strange. The Director of National Intelligence Counterterrorism Office was denied access to intel regarding a foreign connection to Charlie Kirk's assassination. Kent doesn't expressly spell out what this foreign influence might have been, but does say that there are loose ends regarding, because much like the NSA, the DNI, okay, it's targeting foreign nationals. Okay, it's not necessarily targeting domestic. Okay, right. U.S. citizens. Right, that's the job of the FBI. DNI is focused on foreign intelligence. He says that there were foreign leads. Okay, that were not run down in regards to Charlie Kirk's assassination. Doesn't spell out any countries, but I don't know. concerned that Trump is under stress because of threats to his family. Okay, he believes that Trump is possibly being controlled because he's worried about threats to his family because of how his security has failed him multiple times. Right? I mean, there's been three known assassination attempts against him. Okay, plus apparently some Iranian cell. All right, that was also working an assassination angle on Trump. Um, and he believes that drastic action would be required now to reverse course on this Iran war. And he admits that only Trump's the only one who's going to be able to do it. And he's hopeful that Trump can do this, and that it would require new diplomacy with Israel. Basically, Witkoff and Kushner, he calls them out by name, need to be removed from government entirely. We need a new diplomatic team, and we need to essentially reestablish new terms of our relationship with Israel. All right. Because the current course of action is going to result in the failure of the petrodollar, which is the standard currency for the trade of oil internationally. All right. Right now, there's still oil flowing in and out of the Straits of Hormuz, but all those transactions are being conducted in yuan. Okay. The Chinese currency. So it's an existential threat to the U.S. economy if this war is allowed to continue. And basically, yeah, need to put Israel in their place. Tell them they can't do whatever they want to do. Okay, Daddy's in charge again, and we need to basically create some peace with Iran. All right, get them back on the petrodollar in exchange for lifting a lot of the sanctions that we're currently holding against them, which are an economic stranglehold. So that was the interview, basically. Okay, some real key shocking points were that there is an intelligence operation in Washington, okay, run through Israeli officials and Israeli lobbyists, okay, who are directly competing for the ears of policymakers who run contrary to the U.S. intelligence community. Okay, that's bombshell one, and bombshell two would have been that there were additional foreign leads to Charlie Kirk's assassination, which were never followed up on. So that was the interview.
When you say an Israeli-run intelligence apparatus in Washington running contrary to the American IC,
yep.
Are they basically just running a disinformation campaign?
It's people on the Hill, okay? It's the media, all right, and on the Hill and media, creating essentially in his words, by an ecosystem. He uses the word ecosystem, okay, of information, disinformation, that serves Israel's foreign policy. Okay, so basically, they'll whisper into the ears or lobby to people like Lindsey Graham. For example, Lindsey Graham would be one of the key nexus points in this. Okay, a key node, obviously, and it's about basically recycling Israeli policy goals. Okay, through the media and then back into DC, back into the mouths of politicians and policymakers. Okay, so it's about creating essentially the ecosystem that Iran is an imminent threat, Iran is mortal danger, okay, and that Iran needs to be taken out now. Okay, Iran needs regime change now, essentially. So, but yeah, they have the ear of policymakers and are competing with our own IC to gain access. So basically, it's Washington's overrun with Israeli operatives, whether they be government officials or whether they be lobbyists or whether they be in the media. Okay, kind of directing the political weather, if you will. All right. So.
Okay, well, that's enough of the JQ show for today. Let's do a DGU.
All right.
Since we're 40 minutes into a show about guns, let's talk about guns.
Well, that was bonus content. Okay, so all right, there you go.
Robbery victim shoots and kills armed 16-year-old suspect in West Pullman, Chicago. Police say. Interesting. Oh, no description other than the age of the suspect in the headline. I wonder what we're going to learn. 27-year-old man who was a robbery victim shot and killed an armed 16-year-old suspect Wednesday in West Pullman, Chicago, police said. Excuse me. Chicago police are investigating after a man shot and killed a teenager who was trying to rob him Wednesday on the city's south side. Shooting happened around 3:36 p.m. So we're talking broad daylight in the 11,700 block of South Normal Avenue. South Normal Avenue. So a 27-year-old man was approached by a 60-year-old boy who pulled out a gun and attempted to rob him, police said. The man took out a handgun of his own and shot the teen suspect in the chest. The 16-year-old was taken to a hospital where he was later pronounced dead. His identity has not been released. 2 handguns were recovered at the scene, police said. Police did bring the 27-year-old man in for questioning, but as of Wednesday evening, no charges have been filed. No further information was available. It says 2 handguns were recovered at the scene. It does not specify. I wonder if one of those handguns was almost certainly was the handgun of the 27-year-old man who was defending himself. Yeah. This right here is actually illustrative of why defensive gun use statistics are so kind of scattered, right? You'll see statistics listing anywhere from 1 to 4 million lawful uses of self-defense firearms in a year. And the reason that number is so scattered is because we have to extrapolate from a data set. Not every defensive use of a firearm gets reported. And this is a good reason why. So the 27-year-old man was attacked by a 16-year-old boy who used a firearm to try and steal from him, to try and rob him, to try and take his wallet, watch, what have you. And in fear for his own life and in defense of his own property, liberty, and pursuit of happiness, the 27-year-old man, who is also unnamed here, drew a firearm and defended himself. And so, having done nothing wrong, he is put in a position where, in order to survive, he has to expose himself to legal scrutiny over his necessary activity. Your choice is not between dying and defending yourself. Your choice is between dying or becoming a victim of the legal system. And yep. That's why if one doesn't have to report it, right? Because many defensive gun use stories end at brandishing. And brandishing is a crime in many jurisdictions, right? Merely drawing your weapon and showing it in public is a crime in many jurisdictions, right? And now you can usually get away with brandishing if it's in an actual self-defense context. Somebody walks up with a knife and says, "Give me your wallet, mo," right? And you say, "Well, no," and they walk away. You have not fired your weapon. You've shown it. Through show of force, you've shut down the criminal. He's walked away. He's gotten away. Okay, couple things happen now. If you call the police and you tell them what happened, you do what the letter of the law says you're supposed to do. Statistically, the likelihood that they will apprehend the assailant, slim to none. The likelihood that you will be interrogated about how you came to possess the weapon, whether or not you own it strictly legally. We're going to check the license. We're going to check the serial number on the weapon against a database, and this and this. And we're going to hold you up. We're going to take the weapon into custody as evidence. And I've got one buddy who went through that after his car was broken into and somebody stole a firearm out of his glove box. It was taken into they recovered the firearm, but they took it into evidence. And they had it for 5 or 6 years before they finally returned his property to him. Right? Yeah. 5 or 6 years from now, I no longer care if I'm not going to see my gun for 5 or 6 years, I'm going to replace
It might as well not exist.
Correct.
I'm gonna replace it with something else.
Yeah, exactly.
It's fucking. I mean, isn't that what is it?
That's why we own more than one, right? My daily carry is a little 357 Magnum. I've got 2 of them in case I have to put one into evidence. And guess what I'm going to do if it turns out that I have to put one into evidence and start carrying the spare? I'm going to go buy another one, and it'll be in shrink wrap on the shelf where it belongs until it has to be press gang and
you like dual wielding them like Danny DeVito from Always Sunny, like, and there I went, and I just started blasting. Nice. Yeah,
I've never tried firing my revolvers at
the fact that he wasn't arrested, the fact that he's not already charged or something, is a pretty good indicator that this was a black on black crime. Okay, in Chicago. All right.
Oh yeah, guaranteed.
It was a white man who smoked a child. Okay. A 16-year-old black kid is a real and is a clear and present danger. Okay, with a gun. All right. Yeah, child my ass. But yeah, so I don't know. It's Chicago. It's one of the worst jurisdictions for Second Amendment rights in the country.
And that's how it became, and that's how it earned the nickname Chirac.
Right.
All right. Yep. Moving on. CCL holder shoots intruder at Southside break-in. Oh,
damn!
Another one in Chicago.
Chicago streets is hot today. Yeah, right.
Sergeant Major says, I tried the 2 at a time target shooting and they pushed me back a step. And I've seen the old man. I've seen the old man dead eye a bullseye at 300 yards, or I'm sorry, at 100 yards with 300 feet, 100 yards with a frickin' what was that? Your big 40?
44 Magnum?
Yeah, big 44 Magnum. Yeah.
I think that 44 Magnum's got significant drop. He must have been practiced with that thing because you'd have to aim high to hit the target.
Well,
It's
I mean,
a heavy round.
He's old.
It goes.
It's kind of like taking the long distance shots with the Maw Deuce on the crows, where if you can't shoot them in the face, you lob it over and drop it on their head.
Was Sergeant Major hiding behind a pillar and he curved the bullet around the pillar?
No.
No.
There's actually a video on YouTube from that shoot. It's one of our shorts. So it happened around 2:39 a.m. Okay, there you go.
Yeah, so a 2-foot drop. Thanks. Yes, exactly. Sorry, yeah. I figured that. Yep. fucking artillery pistol. Let me drop this one in there.
Like a freaking German Mauser, and instead of peep sights, it's actually got an elevation artillery sight that flips up. It happened at about 2:39 in the 5100 block of South Loomis Boulevard. 59-year-old man was breaking into a garage and was confronted by the homeowner. CPD said the homeowner, a valid CCL holder, pulled out a gun and shot at the alleged intruder. The suspect was shot in the right calf and was taken to the University of Chicago Hospital. He's expected to be okay.
Boo!
Wow. Boo! Boo!
The calf. Couldn't you at least got the femur? That would have put him out of action for like an extra 3 weeks. Okay,
right.
You can get over it. You can get over getting shot in the calf in basically 3 days. Come on.
Maybe this homeowner had a similar 44 Magnum and just did not account for that 2-foot drop.
No, if it was a 44 Magnum and you got shot in the calf, he'd be rocking a peg leg. Okay, no, it wasn't a 44.
Arr. Okay, let's see. It's 8:20. I got time for one more, and then I got to drive to Dublin. Here we go. Suspected burglar was shot by Provo resident. Provo, a Colorado man who police say entered a random house uninvited, was shot by one of the residents and later arrested on Thursday. Ooh. Lance Andre Hunter, 41, of Aurora, Colorado. Oh, look, we're out of Chicago. It looks like there's white people involved, so we get names now.
No, this is Aurora. This is like Trende Aragua Central. Remember Aurora?
Oh, yeah.
That's a town where the Venezuelan gangs had like taken over entire housing projects.
Yeah, this sounds like a very traditionally Venezuelan name right here.
Well, I know that. I'm giving you atmospherics, okay? Don't tell me you don't know.
Well played.
You were clearly Christopher Lowry spent too much time in the field and doesn't know how a skiff works anymore. Okay, you need to come in, son. Come out of the cold.
Is there a waffle iron? The skiff at Fob Wilson had a waffle iron and a hot sauce shelf.
We had unlimited coffee donated to us by Dunkin' Donuts. That was our only perk. And I mean a mountain of coffee donated to us by Dunkin' Donuts. We didn't even finish all of it in a year.
We had the Dunkin' Donuts coffee, and there was more than one location in Afghanistan that I visited frequently that had the unlimited Dunkin' Donuts coffee. My folks still sent me chock full of nuts because it's superior, but the other one, there were several of the skiffs. Because of course, when you get into a skiff, you're dealing with intel nerds, spook nerds, and young spook nerds. Many of them come from affluent families. So of course, you're talking about 19, 20, 21-year-old kids who have struggled through some of the most competitive academia in the world, and their mother is also the affluent den mother of a Girl Scout troop that their younger sisters are in. And so a lot of skiffs downrange had infinite Girl Scout cookies next to the infinite coffee. And that right there, that's a national security threat.
Yep. We actually got a bunch of the Trails End popcorn from the Boy Scouts, okay? Which is ridiculously overpriced, and I don't know why. But like bags and bags of the caramel pecan crunch shit. That stuff's crack. Okay.
Yeah.
It's no fucking joke. Like, yep.
Actually, I was in Ace Hardware yesterday. I had to get some washers for one of my tractor implements, and they were selling bags of caramel popcorn like you're talking about, and they're actually called. It's the first time I ever saw the brand. They're actually called crack corn with a K. Like, yep, that kind of does it.
Just one hit, man. I can stop. I'm in control. I'm in control.
You open your box of Cracker Jacks, and there's a glass pipe at the bottom of it. Lance Andre Hunter, 41, of Aurora, Colorado, was booked into the Utah County Jail for investigation of burglary, criminal mischief, 2 counts of theft, vehicle burglary, and assault. Okay, clarification. The word burglary does not necessarily include the act of theft.
Correct. It just means you broke in.
It means entry. It means unlawful entry. And familiarize yourself with your local ordinances on this, because in most places, the difference between trespassing and burglary is whether or not there's an improved structure.
Burglary
around your property can convert mere entry into burglary without even entering the home. They're just on the property within the fence.
Yeah, the point of burglary is that you intentionally defeated some type of security measure, okay, designed to
Correct.
keep you out. That's the point of burglary. That's what makes burglary different than trespass.
And within the confines of the law, that can be, I put up enough little metal posts around the around the property to run a single string, right? Something that is absolutely not physically capable of stopping anyone, but does represent the established boundary where trespass becomes burglary on the entrance of curtilage.
So you set up an Erev around your property so you can do whatever you want on the Shabbos?
Correct.
Nice. I couldn't help it. I can't help it. I can't help it.
I've noticed. Utah County Sheriff's deputies were called to a home in the South Fork neighborhood of Provo Canyon about 8 p.m. Thursday after Hunter allegedly entered the home uninvited. Right? The home sits on a large piece of property that includes a hangar and a helicopter. Holy shit. According to the sheriff's office, Hunter is believed to have burglarized the hangar before going to the house. Once inside the home, Hunter was confronted by the homeowner's adult son. Hunter began yelling at the people in the home, prompting two women to run into an upstairs bedroom and lock the door. A police booking affidavit states. I've had to shoot real estate photography of homes. There's a neighborhood in McDonough, Georgia, where the entire neighborhood is one strip because all the homes in the neighborhood, every single home in the neighborhood has a private hangar. And so it's basically two rows of houses, and between the two rows of houses is the runway that everybody uses.
Okay.
Right. So every house on the strip is like $2 million and up. And of course, it's big, beautiful house, big, beautiful yard, big, beautiful property. What do they want? Well, they want drone photography, right? You're going to sell a house with a private hangar on a strip. They want drone photography. You know what the one factor other than weather that most complicates drone photography is?
Air travel,
aircraft in the air
travel, yeah.
Like, hey, we need you to come fly this drone on an airport. Okay. Well, you know what? Let's break the law. Let's do this. Once inside the home, Hunter was confronted by the homeowner's adult son. Hunter began yelling at the people in the home, prompting two women to run into an upstairs bedroom and lock the door. A police booking affidavit states, okay, now you've come in and scared my women. Okay, you came in my house. That's probably all I needed. But then you scared my women.
Yep. And then you laid hands on my son. Like you're dead 3 times over at this point. You
scared my women. I've got a wife and 3 daughters. You scared my women.
Yeah. When you start, look, it's every father knows. You can. I experienced it myself. Bunch of family, you, the wife, okay, other families together, other young couples, right? Lots of babies, lots of very young children, okay. You hear a kid screaming. Everybody knows whose baby. You know if it's your baby or not. You know instinctively by the sound of the scream.
Correct.
Okay, and it'd be the same regardless of age. So if you're in your home and you start hearing your women screaming, you need to understand that what that does to a man is it triggers an immediate emotional and tactical response. Okay, you go into fucking kill mode. You are now in search and destroy mode. All right, you be threatening my whammons. All right, you finna get blessed.
I was at an event, MWR event with the Army, with my unit in Hawaii. And this was before I even had kids. This was before Vera, right? I think Fee may have been pregnant with Vera when this happened. But so we're out there with the unit. Everybody's got their families out there, and there's like a dozen kids. The other guys, their kids, and we had one of those giant blow up castles, one of those giant blow up bouncy castles. And, we're out having a good time, but too many of the kids got up in the top of the bouncy castle. And then there was a massive gust of wind, blew the bouncy castle over, and the bouncy castle landed on the grill.
Yeah.
Yep. All of a sudden, you just saw the letters SOG everywhere. as that bouncy castle screamed its last screams. We rendered it into absolute chiffonade in minutes. Just all of a sudden, it was, everybody's got their knives out, and you're being careful. You're being as careful as you can while you quickly carve the children out of the deadly burning plastic.
Yeah. So it was a brutal C-section to remove a litter of children.
Correct.
Damn.
Aaron Olson, in reference to the neighborhood with the airstrip, what Prosperity Gospel neighborhood were you in? No, in fairness, I talked to a lot of the homeowners in that neighborhood, Aaron. They were mostly like software designers and military contractors.
That's right. Pit Danny says, note for future grill away from Bouncy Castle. Let's take it to the next level.
Also,
Bouncy Castle next to deep frying unthawed turkeys. Okay, let's increase the threat matrix to extreme.
Bouncy House of Horrors. Yeah. Oh God, the deep fried turkeys, man. Did you have? We're done with that.
No. Tangent. Stop.
No. Quick. Did your unit have? Oh, of course you're gonna drop your headphones, shithead. Did your unit have the fire department come out and do the frozen turkey demonstration?
I heard about yours though, where they basically literally set off an IED essentially.
Exactly. Yeah. A frozen turkey is an IED. They set up a couple of 12-foot ladders with a bar across them and stood way back and used a rope and a pulley to lower a frozen turkey into appropriately hot oil. And it is. It's just yep.
Yeah, the closest I came to that was deep frying a turkey for the first time. Outdoors in the turkey deep fryer pot, right? And I didn't know how much oil to put in the pot. So I was just kind of relying on my innate Archimedes to make sure I got that right. And
how'd that work out for you?
I dropped the turkey in, and I saw the oil come right up to the edge, and me and my friends are standing around and like, and then it went back down. I'm like, okay. That was close.
Yeah. All right. Well, guys, it is 8:30. I need to put a pin in this because I have to get on the road. So, anything else to say in closing there, Mario?
Yeah, go watch the. If you want to counterpoint to what you're seeing on Fox News, go watch the Joe Kent Tucker Carlson interview. Okay, it's worth an hour.
Yeah, if you want to counterpoint to Fox News, get your asses out of bed and watch the Brushfire Mind at 0730 every weekday morning. We are the earliest first far-right extremism you can get on a work day before you go in and struggle in the salt mines, boys and girls.
Supremacists. No.
All right, y'all, be safe out there. We love you, and we will see you tomorrow night. We got one of our guest lecturers coming in to do a special on the Chernobyl disaster. It should be an interesting one for the deep dive.
Yes.
And yes, Sergeant Major, we've already talked about it. We will not waste a lot of your time in the first 20 minutes with banal anecdotes. We'll get straight into the presentation tomorrow night. Y'all be safe out there. We love you, and we will see you tomorrow.
Ciao. Wait, what was that about? You're saying Sergeant Major can't handle the bants? He can't handle the bants?
He wants less weaving. He gave up. But we will accommodate.
I gave up too, but I was still there for 3 hours.
Woo!